Hello everyone and welcome to our latest Whirlwind Heights forecast center update. And in this forecast, I'm going to discuss the significant drop of activity in the Pacific Ocean that continues, including major hurricane Genevieve, I got to write that down, and then a tropical storm that's also about to make impacts on Hawaii, which can cause coastal flooding, and is actually very concerning. We're also going to talk about the severe weather coming to the United States over the next few days. Significant rainfall. We do have a moderate risk of excessive rainfall for the Northeast. And then I'll see what the fires are, because there are fires actually happening right now in Oregon. So there's a lot of air quality issues there. So there's some stuff to discuss over there. So, and then we have more rainfall coming to the Midwest in the next few days. So, I do think that's going to get significant, and we could also see some more severe weather that could be significant, and we're also going to discuss a significant tornado that happened yesterday. So without much more to talk about in this intro, let's roll the forecast. Alright guys, and I'm going to begin with our SPC outlook, starting off with today's SPC outlook, which is a slight risk of severe weather for the central East Coast and Mid-Atlantic, including a 5% tornado risk now for North Carolina and southeastern Virginia, and a 2% tornado risk all across this general area, where we can see, honestly, a few tornadoes and let's go to our 30% wind risk, which is for North Carolina and the Mid-Atlantic, and we got a 5%. We have a total of at least 5% wind risk all across the central East Coast and Mid-Atlantic. We got a hail risk 5%, and so it's not that concerning. Probably the least concern for today. So yeah, that's your risk of severe weather generally for today. Not too crazy, but there'll be some. And then tomorrow, there's actually a slight risk of severe weather here for northern Florida, which is pretty far dang south for this time of year. We do not have a tornado risk. We have a 15% wind risk for Jacksonville, Florida, Thomasville, Georgia. And then we do have a 5% hail risk up here in Montana and South Dakota. Let me check the wind risk there, 5% as well. Yeah, that's a marginal threat, so that's not too crazy. And then our day 3 right now is just a marginal threat for the northern plains. It is nothing concerning. It could maybe become a slight risk, but overall, it is not too concerning. And then I don't see any outlooks after that. So let's just... But when I go over jet stream at the end of this forecast, it does look like there could be some significant severe weather in the Midwest for the next few days. So let's just move on to excessive rainfall, which for today looks kind of crazy. We got a slight risk of excessive rainfall here in the Southwest, so for Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. Another one for northeastern Kansas, western Missouri, southeastern Nebraska, southwestern Iowa. We got a slight risk of excessive rainfall for Ohio, and then there's a moderate risk of excessive rainfall for White Plains, and let's just call that Kingston, up north of that. Yeah. From New Brunswick all the way up to Hudson is a moderate risk of flash flooding, where we could see easily some significant flooding. And then there's another slight risk tomorrow, where I still wouldn't rule out a moderate risk tomorrow as well, due to the significant flooding that's coming. It is a pretty concerning flooding event that's coming to the Northeast today and tomorrow. What I do think is going to be upgraded to a moderate risk of excessive rainfall is the Midwest flooding event on our days here in about 3 days. So that'd be our Thursday outlook. We have right now a slight risk of excessive rainfall for eastern Nebraska, eastern South Dakota, southern Minnesota, Iowa, northwestern Missouri. I do think that this is going to be upgraded to a moderate risk of excessive rainfall, maybe. And I do think that this could be upgraded as well to moderate risk. We'll see. But we do got one again tomorrow for Iowa, western Illinois, northeastern Missouri, western Wisconsin, and southeastern Minnesota. where we could see another significant flooding event of some extent. And then that's going to shift down into Kentucky, Tennessee, and Alabama on the day 5. So that'd be what? I don't know, Friday, Saturday? Yes, that'd be Saturday, where we would see another significant flooding event. Alright, so yeah, that's your significant flooding. And then real quick, I'll just check the wind and humidity, or the fire risk. So they don't have one out, but there are fires, apparently, I've heard, in Oregon, which have caused air quality hazards. You know what's kind of crazy? They do not have an outlook for snow. Isn't it crazy how this time of year it's this quiet and snow? I'm just joking, okay? I'm just joking. I just want to add a funny bit there. Okay. Since there's no snow right now, which is odd, let's go, I guess, to the temperatures. We have had an ongoing heat wave. Wait a minute, that's suspicious. What? Is that why we've not seen snow? Okay, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Alright. Anyways, let's go back on track here. Alright, here's the heat wave that's going on right now in the Great Plains. This is our apparent temperatures. I guess this heat wave has shifted down into Oklahoma and Texas, where our fuel temperatures are widespread 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Isolated locations could be up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit at their peak, and then this is going to continue to shift to the south slowly. And then what the GFS shows here is that this heat wave is going to make a revamp. I cannot tell if this is... I don't know if this is actually the heat wave that's been going on for a while, or if this is a new heat wave. It's kind of hard to tell, but anyway, the GFS does show here some sort of heat wave ongoing that would go and shift up north. Well, like, I think this might be just a new heat wave. It's kind of hard to tell. Alright, let's go check our relative humidity, which is relatively... It's kind of low for... I do want to talk about this real quick. It looks like... I mean, this is pretty normal, but it looks pretty dry out here in Nevada. It also looks surprisingly dry here in North Carolina. Or, no. Yeah. Let me see if there's anything odd in humidity. Nothing I see. Alright. Let's just go to our Pacific Ocean activity, which we're just getting closer and closer to Hurricane Fausto or Tropical Storm Fausto at this point, making impacts on Hawaii. But because of wind shear, where it's got shredded off, it may not make too many impacts on Hawaii. But it's like the path is shifting farther and farther to the south. So you need to be ready for this, because if it does make impacts on Hawaii, it could make major impacts. Because it just can. Tropical storm. This tropical storm, there was a tropical storm sometime in the 1900s that went up into the north and caused all that flooding in Pennsylvania. So, I don't think that's not going to happen again here in Hawaii, but don't underestimate weak tropical systems. But let's now go over something that's not weak, which is Hurricane Genevieve, which I've been pronouncing that name wrong this entire time. I've been pronouncing it Genevieve this entire time. And I was just making up so many names. Geneva. I just gotten confused with those two names, which are both incorrect pronunciations. Okay. But anyways, I think that this it's somewhere between a Category 4 and a Category 3 hurricane. So, yeah, and it's going to continue to go northwest, where it will continue to weaken down to a tropical storm. So, yeah, I mean, there are islands here that are probably being impacted by this. Like, this is in the far outskirts of the hurricane, so, I mean, they're not taking too much, but, like, there's still probably flooding going on over there, considering, I mean, this hurricane's also growing in size as it weakens, so you all will probably continue to see some rain for whatever this island's called here for a while. If anybody really lives on this island, and even if you do, like, I highly doubt anybody from that island is watching this, has even seen the video on my channel at all. It's probably that low population. But if I'm wrong and you are, just be ready. And there is an airport here, so maybe you evacuated, but yeah. And then our eye is relatively disorganized, but it's still a strong hurricane. The eye is actually getting smaller. It was 30 miles wide, and now it's up to 20 miles wide. So it looks like it might be going under an eye wall replacement cycle, and then it'll continue to weaken here. So, yeah, this is Hurricane Genevieve. Yeah, Genevieve. All right. Now let's go over our jet stream here. And this is what Hurricane Genevieve looks like. This is what Tropical Storm Fausto looks like. And when this loads here, we're going to show you just what is expected here. That's Tropical Storm Genevieve here. As it weakens down to Tropical Storm. And then it looks like the tropical activity in the Pacific Ocean may start dying down. I really can't tell if that's a tropical disturbance there that the GFS is showing, but it really does show the Pacific Ocean dying down. The Atlantic Ocean has just been flat out quiet. We've not even had a hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean yet. So, I mean, it'd be a crazy year if we literally don't see even a hurricane. I mean, we probably will see a hurricane at some time, and probably even a major hurricane. But with El Nino being in place, it's going to make it harder for tropical storms to develop here. Alright, so that's... And so I'm going to show you now what we're seeing here. Where do I want to go at? Where do I want to go? Alright. I would... As you can see here, there's a trapping injection here in a few days here across the Midwest here in the United States. So if the conditions go together, we could have a significant severe weather event, but it's highly uncertain as of now. But what I do know is that isolated severe weather is going to continue for a little bit, but eventually the GFS is showing this becoming more of a zonal weather pattern. Like 2026 has just been absolutely unpredictable. So with July being a little bit of a quieter tornado month, unless you live in the Ohio Valley, what if August gets really active? I mean, 2026 has just been such a strange year for tornadoes or any severe weather in general. So, I'd say it's been pretty around average for the number of tornadoes, but I'd say below average in terms of the strength of tornadoes. We've literally had one EF4 this year thus far. I mean, I would honestly say that that Wisconsin tornado may end up being rated an EF4, but by the way, yesterday we had a significant tornado. Where's that? in Appleton, Wisconsin. I mean, that caused a lot of damage. Also went into Menesha, whatever that was pronounced. But that'll be it for today's forecast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, and if you want to spread the word there, you can share this forecast. You don't have to, but I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.